follow the path of the Pied Piper to Hamelin. The origin of the Pied Piper story is still under debate. Meanwhile, the lovely town of Hamelin offers several attractions that bring the tale to life. One of the best things to do in Hamelin is to watch The Daily Show outside a local building named Hawkside's house. This building is used to hold events such as weddings. Every day at 1:05 p.m., 3:35 p.m., and 5:35 p.m., the bronze doors on its gable open for a mechanical puppet show. It tells the Pied Piper story with moving figures of the piper, rats, and children, along with beautiful music. To dive deeper into the story, a visit to the Hamelin Museum is a must. The museum has displays that help you learn about Hamelin's history. Built in 1912, it has the world's largest collection of items about the Pied Piper. Visitors can even participate in hands-on games in the museum. With its rich history, there is no doubt that Hamelin is a place worth visiting. Plan your visit to follow in the footsteps of the Pied Piper.
Welcome back to English for You. I'm Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
And everyone, in our last episode, we heard the Pied Piper story. How the story takes place in a town called Hamelin, which is a real place in Germany, and how that town was overrun with rats.
Yeah, the town hired a mysterious man with a magical flute. Magic flute, the Pied Piper, to get rid of them.
Yeah, and exactly. And he did do just that, right? He played his flute. The rats followed him out of the town. But when the town refused to pay him, he used his flute to lead all the children away as well.
Yeah, a little dark, right? And scary.
Yeah, it really is. But today, everyone, we'll actually be learning about that town, Hamelin. Let's take a look and find out a little bit more about it.
Okay.
Our article starts off by saying, the origin of the Pied Piper story is still under debate. There we see the phrase under debate, and that is something that is still being discussed or argued about.
Debate 它是争论，所以呢 under debate 那就是仍有争议在争论当中，所以这个故事的 origin 起源还是相当有争议性的。
Right, so it's under debate. A lot of people think, oh, this was a real story and this really happened the way the story says. Other people say, no, he maybe was a real person, but it didn't happen quite like the story says it does. So it's still under debate. We don't know who is right and who is wrong. All right, jumping back to the article, it says, meanwhile, the lovely town of Hamelin offers several attractions that bring the tale to life. In the last sentence, we saw meanwhile, which is an adverb. It's while something else is happening. An example sentence using this word, everyone, we could say, I was doing my homework. Meanwhile, my brother was playing video games. Another phrase we saw in that last sentence was bring something to life. Bring something to life is to make something more exciting or more real. The next word is a noun. It's the word tale. It's a story, often one that is imaginary or not real. An example, using this word tale, we could say, the teacher read us a tale about a brave knight and a dragon.
好，那我们来整理一下 meanwhile 它是一个副词哦，代表在此期间还有同时。那 bring something to life 那就是赋予某事物生命，让某事物变得生动有趣。那另外这个名词 attraction 它是吸引人的事物或是地点，所以 tourist attractions 那就是这个观光景点。那当地啊，在故事当中有几个景点，将这个故事变得更生动有趣。那故事这边用到的是 tale， 当你看到 tale 代表故事的时候，多半都是编造出来的，像是 fairy tale 那就是童话故事。
And the great thing about this tale, essentially, is that it's so loved by a lot of people all around the world. So it does make this little town, Hamelin, a great place to visit. And our article says one of the best things to do in Hamlin is to watch the daily show outside a local building named Hosenschloss. I might have pronounced that maybe incorrectly. It's a German word.
It looks so hard, this word.
It's quite long. I think it's Hosenschloss.
Okay, so what kind of daily shows do they have there?
Well, it says the building is used to hold events such as weddings. But there is something even more special than the weddings.
Okay, so hold events 那就是举行活动，像是我们说 hold a party 哈，这个就是举行一场派对。当然你要说 throw a party 也是可以的。
Right. And what's more exciting than a wedding? Well, our article says every day at 1:05 p.m., 3:35 p.m., and 8:35 p.m.
5:35.
Oh, sorry. What did I say?
8:35.
Oh, no. That's a little bit too late. So every day at 1:05 p.m., 3:35 p.m., and 5:35 p.m., the bronze doors on its gable open for a mechanical puppet show. So there we see the noun puppet. And I think everyone knows what a puppet is, but a puppet is a small figure that looks like a person or animal and can be moved by pulling strings. So an example sentence using puppet, we could say, the puppet show was about a fox trying to trick a rabbit.
Puppet 哈，这个名词呢就是戏偶或是傀儡。那你应该会想到，有一个字跟它声音好像，那个是 puppy，P-U-P-P-Y，那个是小狗。那台湾其实也有 puppet show， 也有这个所谓的布偶戏，那就是叫做布袋戏。Right? Have you watched any Taiwanese puppet show before?
I remember when I first came here and I was flipping through the channels. We say flipping through the channels or changing the channels on the TV. And I saw this show on TV and it was all puppet shows. Like, whoa, whoa, they were fighting. And it was quite interesting.
Yeah. OK, 那再来还有一个形容词是 bronze， 它代表的是青铜色的或是青铜制的，像是呢奥运里面前3个牌，金牌、银牌、铜牌，铜牌就是这个 bronze medal。对，没错。好，然后 gable 这个名词呢是三角墙或是山墙，也就是屋顶下方的三角形墙面。接下来 mechanical 这个形容词是机械的。那名词机械本身，机器本身是 machine.
Right, and actually you guys can go onto YouTube and watch it. Type in the Pied Piper story in Hamlin and you could type in mechanical gable or something like that. And it really does show you. It shows how the gable opens and how there's little figures of the Pied Piper and the rats and even the children's, and it goes in a circular motion. It's quite interesting to watch. Well, everyone, jumping back to the article, it says now, it tells the Pied Piper story with moving figures of the piper, rats, and children, along with beautiful music. Figure is a statue of a person or an animal. An example sentence using the word figure, we could say, the museum had a life-size figure of the famous king from Denmark. Also in that last sentence, we saw the phrase along with something, which means together with something else.
Figure 这个名词呢是人或动物的塑像或是雕像。那 along with something 哈，这个代表是连同点点点一起。
So it would be cool. You're walking along the streets of Hamlin and then you're like, oh, what's that sound? You hear some music and then all of a sudden you get to see a puppet show while you're walking through. And guess who pops up? The Pied Piper.
Oh, the Pied Piper.
Awesome. All right. Well, continuing on, everyone, it says to dive deeper into the story, a visit to the Hamlin Museum is a must. So there we see dive into something. And sometimes you'll hear Adam say, hey, let's dive into our story today. So dive into something is to focus deeply on something or start doing it with a lot of energy.
Dive into something 那就是全心投入或是潜心钻研。So what else do they have at the museum?
Good question. Well, it says the museum has displays that help you learn about Hamlin's history. And there we see the noun display. What is it? It's an arrangement of things in a public place for people to look at. An example using the word display, we could say, the art display at the gallery included paintings of ships and sculptures of famous pirates.
Display 这个名词呢，指的就是展览或是陈列。
I mean, this place I think would be a pretty good place to be if you're a huge Pied Piper fan.
Yeah, you can go to the museum and to understand the story and to maybe interact with some things in there.
Right. And I mean, the whole town is kind of surrounded from this tale. If you go and look at some of the pictures of Hamlin, it's very cute looking. It looks like a little cottage everywhere and everything. Even on the streets while you're walking, you will see pictures of rats or a Pied Piper here in a window and things like that. And so jumping back to our article, everyone, it says, built in 1912, it has the world's largest collection of items about the Pied Piper.
那这边呢，我们就看到了分词构句再一次出现了。好，那这个分词构句呢，省略主词跟连接词之后，你看到过去分词 built 在字首，因为呢这个地方是被建造、被打造出来的，所以要用的是过去分词第三态。
So, are you a Pied Piper fan? Have we turned you into a Pied Piper fan with this article so far?
Almost.
Okay. Well, in that we saw the word, in that last sentence, everyone, we saw the word collection. Collection is a noun. It's a group of objects that someone has gathered or collected. So example sentence, my sister has a collection of seashells from different beaches from around the world.
Collection 这个名词呢，指的是一批或是收藏品。A collection of something， 好，你 of 后面加的这个名词，那就指的是你收藏的东西。那你有一系列的这样的东西。
Yeah, now do you have a collection of anything?
I have a collection of... I don't have any collections, do you? You have a collection of sneakers.
Yes, I have a collection of different sneakers that I like to collect. All right, well, learning more about the Pied Piper, our article says, visitors can even participate in hands-on games in the museum. Ooh, so you can maybe dress up as the Pied Piper and someone can maybe dress up as a rat and you could probably play and walk around or something like that.
Yeah, 也就是在这个博物馆里面呢，你可以有一些亲自能够体验的东西。
Yeah, I wonder if they have a video game and you could be the Pied Piper. Or you could be the townspeople and try to fight the Pied Piper. All right. Well, getting back, everyone, it says, with its rich history, there is no doubt that Hamlin is a place worth visiting.
那在这边我们看到今天的 Language in Focus. Let's take a look. 好，我们今天要说的是 there is 或是过去式 there was no doubt that 后面加子句的用法。那这样的一个句型呢，它的意思是毫无疑问的是点点点，无疑的点点点，用来表示呢确信你某事是会发生的。那这个句型除了置于句首之外，可以置于句中。那 that 后面加上的就是子句。So for example, if you practice every day, there is no doubt that your English will improve. 如果你每天练习，毫无疑问的是你的英文会进步。所以呢 your English will improve 就是接在 that 后面的子句。那再来给同学们一个例句哦。When we heard the loud music, there is no doubt that our neighbors were having a party again. 当我们听到吵闹的音乐的时候，我们就很确定的知道说一定是我们的邻居又在举办派对了。那这边呢 that 后面的名词子句是 our neighbors were having a party again.
So everyone, if you are a fan of this tale, It says, plan your visit to follow in the footsteps of the Pied Piper.
So next time when we go to Germany, we need to go visit this town called Hamelin.
Hamelin.
Yeah.
We can see all the cool things about the Pied Piper.
That's right. 那喜欢今天的节目吗？赶快按赞追踪我们的 YouTube channel 还有 Facebook， 不要忘记开启小铃铛，掌握第一手的英文学习内容。
Okay, now everyone, that leads us to our For You chat question. It says, what are some other famous stories from your country that attract tourists? Explain your answer. I know one really famous one. It's called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, I love this story.
It takes place in a town actually up in New York State, so a little bit further than New York City. And it's, a very scary tale about the headless horseman that draws visitors to Sleepy Hollow, New York, especially during Halloween.
Ooh, especially during Halloween.
Yes. Because it takes place during that time, the tale does, and there's a whole town of Sleepy Hollow that's dedicated, and kind of like Hamelin, that you see all these little things throughout the city or throughout the town, and it's really quite neat. But that is a legend and a tale of something that I'm quite familiar with.
Okay, so there are actually a lot of tales in Taiwan related to Taiwan or related to our culture.
Okay, great.
But are there any tales that actually make the spots, make the places popular?
Well, I know in Jiufen, right?
Jiufen.
But that's more of
What's the tale?
It's more about a recent tale, and it's from newer technology. So it's not written in a book. It was written in a movie. It was a movie about the...
Oh, you mean Spirited Away?
Yeah,
Spirited Away. Japanese animation?
Right. A lot of people say that is an inspiration. Jiufen is the inspiration for that movie, but it's not technically maybe a tale since it's a newer movie or a newer movie. So.
Yeah, so actually when Japanese come to Taiwan, they actually go visit Jiufen because of that movie, I think.
Yeah, right? All right, so for me, I know Sleepy Hollow is a pretty famous tale that brings visitors to Sleepy Hollow, New York. And there's some other ones, but off the top of my head, I'm forgetting. What about you guys? What are some tales or other tales from different countries, maybe, that attract tourists? Explain your answer. That's all the time we have for today. My name is Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Meanwhile. The cookies are baking in the oven. Meanwhile, we can clean up the kitchen together. Tale. My grandfather told me a tale about 3 little pigs and a big, bad wolf. Puppet. The children spent the afternoon playing with the puppets and putting on their own shows. Figure. Children loved climbing on the large stone figure of a friendly bear at the zoo. Display. The big display of toys in the shop window made many children stop and look. Collection. That generous man sent a huge collection of books to the new school for free.
智慧小补帖
Attraction. Bronze. Gable. Mechanical.